Welcome back. Today we are going to carry on with the product development process, and then we'll go into something called um, something called sorry yeah product development organization. So let's get started. So carrying on with the product development process, we need to understand there is something called product development process flow. The process flow that we talked about, that can have different little bit change depending on the what are the product that you are developing, whether it is a marketable product, whether it is a quick build product, whether it is a complex system product or not. So the author had given here 3 example: generic product development process, which is the same thing as we had seen till now, and then for quick build product, you can think of the changes here will be that there will be many iteration between design, build and test. So detailed design and testing and refinement had been converted to 3 stages: design, build and test, and that is being repeated quite a few times, and that is beneficial for the type of product which is quick build product. In case of complex system product, you can see that the changes made here is design and test had been divided into various categories. That means each category will basically denotes the various subsystems, or maybe division of various subsystems itself that will be done in each stages, and all will be done by different teams in not sequential but a parallel way. And then there is of course integrate and test, that's also very important part. And then of course the usual thing, validation ramp up or production ramp up, whatever you want to say. So we can see that these specific changes are very important. These managerial changes are important depending on the product. For example, for complex system it is very much obvious. For quick build system is also obvious that you want to reiterate, because you are making it quick, so better iterate it, something like that. I think it will depend on the example also, like right now it's not really clear what really quick build product is. So now one of the feature of the book from where I'm making this material is that for each chapter or specifically for each concept explanation or broader concept explanation, they come up with examples and industry-based examples. So, and of course they are not into the making the example too complex, but it is a practical example and realistic real world example. So there is a company called Tyco International, and basically they make marketable products. So this means Tyco generally drives its development projects based on a perceived market need and utilizes new or established technologies to meet that need. Its competitive advantage arises from highly effective marketing channels worldwide, strong brand recognition, a large installed base of equipment, and an ability to integrate new technology into its product lines. For this reason, the technology push process would not be appropriate. Most Tyco products are assembled from components fabricated with relatively conventional processes such as molding, machining, and electronics assembly. Products are generally customized for a particular customer in final sales and installation processes. So the development process at Tyco is primarily aimed at creation of new modular products rather than at the customization of existing models. So here we can see so they come up with a generic flow diagram, not flow, I mean the managerial system that all their product will go through this phase of development, or these are the stages of development that has to be followed, for starting with concept definition, feasibility and planning, preliminary design, final design, product verification, product process verification, and launch and post-launch assessment. Now here I want to make that that to start with this chapter, not this video but the previous video also, there we talked about of course the generic thing, the phases and all these things. So here, yeah, of course this is a practical example of a certain company following it. So to start with, we always say that that is the generic thing, and depending on the product and depending on the company, the way they want to implement it, up to them actually. So here we can see an example where certainly it's not like they are implementing something totally out of the box. Here it's again start with the concept definition, feasibility and planning, preliminary design, and then final design. That's important, these two things. And then of course verification, process verification, these are a little bit different. And yeah, something in the end it's post launch assessment. That's also something I will say new, or maybe customized here to some extent. And more importantly, there is something they use something called critical review after each phase to get approval of next phase. So for example, after concept definition there will be something called rally point, RP, which is basically critical review done by the concept definition team, and the higher executive body will make a call that whether their task had been done in a correct way or not. If they think that it's not done correctly, then they have to repeat the concept definition work, had to be done again by the same team. And then if it is done well, then it will go to the next team, feasibility and planning. So that's how they are doing, managing thing here, the whole process. So it's good to know, and I believe that in each case it is different, and even if we as a community are mostly academic researcher, maybe entrepreneur, maybe researchers in industrial environment, and in I will say, or maybe some executive person also interested in these videos and all this thing. But yeah, certainly for them it is the content is relevant, but I think for us also it's to some extent relevant, because considering, let's say we are in the industrial environment, as a researcher we are working, so we will be part of some team in between all one of the phases, and so it's good to know that how whole thing works, because it's always important, because it's nothing is like a black box sort of thing. All the team have to cooperate with each other, and although you may think that these are closed box thing, one team done with the job, and I think it's more flexible, and they all sit together in generally in one office, maybe, or work together in one office mostly. And of course, depending on the complexity of the product, it can be large team also doing work in different offices or different countries itself, so that can happen. But in the end, the conclusion is that even if we are basically academic researchers, that's also important to know that how whole thing works. Like one can say that we are working on certain technology, and we are thinking that that this I will work on this, let's say, for 5 or 10 years, and it should give me some IP and patent, and then I will think about some spin-off and something like that. Yeah, so in that context, this will come into play, that then you have to think from the whole start to end, that how this thing will work, the concept definition. So I mean, when you start with your project or something like that, you are in somewhere in feasibility planning or something, like even concept definition. Our research is basically part of a concept definition, uh, but then concept definition, I think as a researcher, we may be more focused on to R&D itself, but there are other part of the concept definition that we already discussed in the previous week's video, where there are functions of marketing team and various other different expertise team to make it more feasible and all these things. So all this philosophy need to be inputted into your research, although you may think that this, in the end, you are writing just a paper, that's the output, but then if you have a bigger plan that on at some day, 5 or 10 years later, this will produce the fruit that I'm sorry, that I'm very much interested, then all this thing needed to be thought carefully, otherwise it will might not happen altogether, and we'll lose our maybe 5 or 10 years. So that's the importance of learning this thing, even if this seems to be managerial or MBA sort of thing or executive CEO sort of material, but and not for maybe the hardcore researchers, let's say, but still these are important. I mean, not still, but it's very important actually. Yeah. Now we will see Tycho's the step-by-step processes in more detail, where the task in each stage will be basically sorry, divided into or categorized into the names like primary goal, marketing and sales, engineering, quality assurance, manufacturing, purchasing, legal and financial, project management. So engineering, basically this is the R&D division, I mean the core R&D division, I will say. I mean, yeah, that's from our perspective, it's core R&D division, but then each team is more, I think, equally important, I will say. So in project registration, this is something that we actually haven't discussed, but this is part customized version for the Tycho's, and I mean Tycho's product development process. And so here, as a primary goal will be define the project and business unit needs. Yeah, so it's a big company, so what business units you need, that you need to define. And in the same project registration phase, then it will be task of marketing and sales team to identify customers and market size, describe competitive features and benefits, benefits, and identify target cost and price. Now, on one might think actually this is this looks like a little bit yeah, it doesn't make sense, because I would assume that concept development should start, but how one can, yeah, maybe it's without context to what they are going to develop, so it's more like, or having a very vague idea of this is something that we want to develop, so marketing or sales team will do some basic exercise sort of thing, I will say. Yeah, identify project risk. I don't know that how, without knowing the what is the project, how. Okay, so define the project. Okay, so maybe it's the very preliminary version of the project design, or I mean project, description of the project. Then task of the financial team will be prepare preliminary business case, and finally project management team will be doing identify project timing, resources, capital, prepare RPO checklist and submit for approval. Yeah, okay, so that's more like a official stuff within the company. Now concept definition phase, where primary goal will be develop project concept and charter. Marketing and sales team will be doing capturing voice of the customer, analyze customer needs, document customer needs. Okay, so now their task become in this second step, their task become more focused. Engineering will be identify critical to quality specs, that I don't know what it means, develop and select concept, update project risk. Okay. Legal team will be searching patents. Yeah, this is very interesting. So one would assume that the engineering team will be doing patent search, but we know that patent search and all these things are very, even especially the patent writing, is because it's a technical document, so it's done by the outsource. I mean, a lot of people outsource, even the university people outsource it. Yeah, so in company there is a legal team, they will do the patent search, so that's interesting to know. And most probably, although it looks like the legal team and engineering team are quite distant apart, something like that, but it's not that. Actually they will have a correspondence or something like that, group meeting, something like that. And financial team refine the business case, assess team capability, skills. Financial team will do refine business case, and project management will do assess team capability, skills, identify development team members, select a rally point, process variant, prepare RP1 checklist and submit for approval. So this project management team will be more like more of an administrative job they are doing. Yeah. Now one can say, as a academic researcher, we are discussing this thing little bit earlier. So it's more like we have to do all of things, not all, but we have to gather. We have to do all this thing, or not all, but little bit here and there, most of the things by our own. So, but it's good to know that for example, the marketing and sales, the task that you have to do, like you have to understand that the research idea that you are talking about, yeah, it's 100%. In 100%, you can't say that this will be successful or something like that. You can't say for sure, but then you can have a risk analysis or sort of a understanding that if something goes failed, or if after 2-3 years I get this result, then how I manage the same development to pivot in some other direction so that it still remains. So this all thing can be done in this initial phase, I will say. Okay, so feasibility and planning. So primary goal part will be create product description. Marketing and sales here again will come back and develop marketing and sales plan, create phase in and phase out plans. Okay, so here also it becomes so it's more like it's assuming that okay, so this is going to be made, so we are now preparing the stage when it will be complete, like the product will be made, then we are preparing the stage for the launch sort of thing. Yeah, now engineering people will do engineering or a scientist group will do more specific tasks, create functional specification and performance metrics, review concept selection, define product architecture, assess technical failure modes. Quality assurance, it becomes more viable here, so create preliminary test plan. Okay, now legal team will do identify trade compliance issues. Okay, so that I don't know exactly what it is, but anyway, financial team will do complete financial package, And project management will do plan integrated product development schedule, assign a product manager, etc, etc. Not too important for us. Then next step will be preliminary design. Primary goal will be create preliminary detailed design. Marketing and sales team will do review concept with customer. Okay, so so it's like first prototype. They will be supplying it to some limited number of customer, and from there they will collect the review and something like that. Engineering team will conduct a preliminary design, review, build and test alpha prototype. So we discussed alpha, beta prototype in previous videos. So assess product failure modes. Now the first time manufacturing teams comes into the play. Begin manufacturing process development, conduct a preliminary manufacturing process review. Purchasing team will create a supplier participation matrix, assess supplier for certification. This is important. Purchasing doesn't mean, specifically it means that okay, so this is the product we are making, so it has this 100 parts or let's say 150 parts, so we will have to order it from this companies and etc. So that's the task of the purchasing team. Legal team, here again it will come back and identify potential patents, because now the engineering team made a lot of progress. So now they can see, the legal team can see that what is the IP that they are generating, or whether it is infringing some other IP or something like that. So again, this legal team needs to come again and have to have a more detailed analysis about depending on what is being preliminary, the alpha prototype, how this can be made generative IP for the company or something like that, even if or make sure that it's not infringing other IP. So in the first stage of the legal first task of the legal team is to search patent, which is the priori art search, So and project management, not too important. Final design, primary goal, detail and optimized design. Now marketing sales team here doesn't need to do anything. Engineering team will do freeze hardware and software design, complete engineering documentation, draft technical documentation, secure beta prototype. So this is important. Here it becomes more constrained and more fixated, that this is what we want to do, these are the parameters in software, or these are the architecture of the software. Let's say if I am making some medical scanner, this will be the software and this will be the interface, and this is the source code, and this will do this, and these are the functionality that the user will see in the user interface and all this thing, etc. So all this thing gets fixated. And documentation is important, so we know that all this, whatever you buy, even if not, it's a very simple thing, but if little bit, let's say maybe even you buy maybe, who knows, like a watch maybe, or electronics thing, you will get a lot of documentation, like this is the user manual, etc. So this thing will be done by the engineering team, because they know that what is happening. They know the product in a technical way. Quality assurance, test beta prototype for robustness. Manufacturing, finalize bill for material. Develop manufacturing control plan. Purchasing, identify long lead time items. Legal team will do prepare patent application. Okay, so this is important. So I think they are making sure that whatever they do, this is a patented thing. I think that can be optional also, but anyway, so and then product verification, demonstrate product performance in the primary goal. Marketing sales team will come again, initialize field trial. Engineering team will do finalize design documentation, complete beta prototype and field testing, and apply for regulatory approval. Quality assurance team will come and do complete quality assurance testing. Manufacturing will do update manufacturing control plan. Purchasing team, legal team will do assure trade compliance, and then process verification, demonstrate process performance, complete field trial, and finalize training plan by the marketing and sales team. Engineering team will do obtain regulatory approval. Quality assurance will do conduct process verification testing. Manufacturing will do run manufacturing pilots, finalize manufacturing control plan. Purchasing team will verify supply chain readiness. So, and let's see launch. Primary goal will be launch product, that's of course, and marketing and sales team will finalize pricing and sales forecast, complete sales and service training. Engineering team will finalize product metrics, and legal and the rest of the teams doesn't do anything here. Post launch assessment, this is again equally important. Primary goal, identify lesson learned. Marketing and sales will do solicit customer feedback and satisfaction rating, measure sales and forecast, complete phase in, phase out. Manufacturing team will register obsolete and scrap product. Financial team will monitor return on investment. And of course project management, they have to do, throughout they will perform whatever needed, document based practice, etc. So here we can see a lot of aspect of full product development, and it can be very simple, maybe an electronic gadget, or maybe a floor cleaner, maybe, who knows. And this is the general plan the Tyco use. And so as a for us, actually it's good to know that all these phases and each are important. I think I will say legal phase, not phase, the legal, the row I'm talking about, legal row and the engineering row, these are important for us, and marketing and sales row, these are important. And other, maybe to some extent final quality assurance and financial, these are also important. So when we plan for a long project, I think these, especially if we are from applied science background, so if we are thinking about commercializing our research or something like that in long term, then this can be a good motivation point. Okay, so that's it about for today, and this week. And I know that I haven't completed the whole chapter today. In the next week I'll certainly complete this chapter. Okay, so see you in the next week.